Recovering from knee surgery is highly variable.
It was going to take forever to get better if I was ever going to get better.
There's got to be something out there besides a CPM machine, which
And
clearly
I
isn't
needed to
helping
get
me.
active and aggressive with this thing, or I was going to need
I'm a guy that's
a
not
revision.
looking to relieve the pain. I'm a guy that's looking to get back in the game.
That downtime was not what I wanted.
We've spent the last 7 years perfecting the recovery system that takes variability out of knee rehab, so you can quickly get back to your life.
Welcome to The Bee's Knees,
The Bees.
a podcast full of stories, interviews, articles, and advice about knee surgery preparation, physical therapy, and life after surgery.
2 Knee Replacements at Once, The Good and the Bad, by P.J. Ewing, that's me, an X10 patient recovery coach. It's called bilateral knee replacement, 2 knees at the same time. Usually it's performed by one surgeon, at times it's done simultaneously by 2 surgeons. And it's a massive trend in knee replacement nowadays. I discuss the merits of doing 2 knee replacements at once here in this podcast, and I've included the stories of a few recent bilateral knee patients to help you decide if you want 1 lump or 2. I would also encourage you to visit the show webpage because there are a bunch of great video interviews with bilateral knee patients there. Doctors are split on their opinions of this surgery. Some orthopedic surgeons simply will not perform 2 knee replacements at once, preferring at least a 3-month separation between surgeries. Many suggest that age, physical health, and mindset play a role in the final outcome, and that recovery is more demanding for 2 knees versus 1. There is also evidence that younger patients have a harder time recovering in the short term, only to do well over the long term. Other surgeons agree to perform double replacements, knowing that it can be better for the patient to just get it done at once so they can get back to their lives more quickly. The problem is that with this seemingly irreversible trend toward doubles, patient results have suffered. Lisa Alarcon, director of physical therapy at Michigan VNA, notes that, in her quote, "If your knees are bad enough so that one knee cannot really support all of your weight, then go ahead and do them both." She also suggests that for rehabilitation, bilateral surgery has its advantages in that you cannot cheat when you are doing your rehab exercises because both knees are in recovery. Patients with 2 knee replacements at once can do very well in rehab because of this balanced recovery. Of course, there is double the danger of succumbing to scar tissue before you can get a good range of motion. In the video on the webpage, Lisa discusses the dangers of scar tissue. Worth a look. Trends in bilateral replacements. I recently took a look at a study on bilateral replacement surgery published by Hospital for Special Surgery, where much of the pioneering behind knee replacement was done. I was surprised at what I found. The number of bilateral total knee replacements performed between 1999 and 2008 increased by 75%. In 1999, bilateral procedures accounted for 3.7% of all knee replacement operations. By 2008, they accounted for 6% of operations. It's quite a jump. The average age for bilateral surgeries during that same time frame decreased by 2.5 years. However, the rate of comorbidities, this is the presence of one or more additional disorder, increased measurably during this same time frame. More complications and difficulties were seen for those with 2 knee replacements. Clouding matters further was the fact that obesity increased by 131% during this same time frame. It is all related, as the number 1 cause for knee replacement surgery is obesity. Dr. Stavros Memsoudis, a highly respected orthopedic surgeon who oversaw the study, said patients, in his quote, should critically look at themselves and talk to their physicians about how their health status plays into the choice of surgery, end quote. I have met many bilateral knee replacement patients whose recoveries were successful and who were very happy that they did 2 knees at once. Ed, who had bilateral TKA in the spring of 2014, said, In his quote, "I found at least 5 people, friends, who had one knee done but never went back for the second one because of the pain. In their judgment, it was just too bad." Ed feels that the mental preparation is just as important as the physical preparation prior to TKA, total knee arthroplasty. Ed's surgeon, Dr. Ward, was willing to perform a bilateral knee replacement in part because of Ed's commitment and dedication to preparing himself for success. He knew Ed was going to work very hard before and after his surgery. We have a video of Ed's interview on the webpage. Mike was walking to the mailbox in about 8 days and picking weeds in his garden. He was back to work in a warehouse lifting 300-pound boxes within 3 months of his bilateral surgery. He was athletic and in shape before he went ahead with his surgery, and he was 52 at the time of the operation in late 2013. You can view a full interview with Mike as well on our page. Mike's surgeon was Dr. Gibson, and he was really impressed with the progress, as was his recovery team at the outpatient clinic where he finished his recuperation 3 weeks early. His mailbox story is really something you want to watch. Steve had complications in surgery. It was a fractured tibia, which slowed his recovery from 2 knee replacements. He still achieved 127 degrees and 135 degrees on each of his 2 legs range of motion after 6 weeks. His recovery in the spring of 2014 progressed at a steady pace once his leg healed. You are unlikely to see better numbers than these, especially after such an episode. It was the single rehabilitation period that made up Steve's mind for him. Before going ahead with 2 knee replacements at once, he consulted with a friend who recovered well from her double. "If she could do it, then I could," Steve said. He wanted to get it over with and really warmed up to the idea when his surgeon, Dr. Brian McCardle, had no qualms about performing both surgery in one 4-hour time frame. Steve sorted out the recovery plan with the latest rehab technology and never looked back. Very pleased that he went forward with his own double. Betsy reached 110 degrees range of motion in 2 weeks with each of her 2 knee replacements. Betsy is in her early 50s. She is athletic, plays tennis and volleyball. Once she got going on a recovery in her own home after a week in a skilled nursing facility, she really took off. Knee replacement has a major impact on everyone who goes through it. In Betsy's case, the implications are huge. 2 knees are the difference between actually living and just hobbling through life. As an entrepreneur, she needed a quick recovery to get back to business. She has highly active kids and a great husband, Noel, who is naturally athletic. Without good knees that function even better than the original equipment, she will just not be able to do what she wanted to do or accomplish what she wanted to accomplish. But regarding her recovery, in her quote, "Basically, I'm a chicken. I thought that once I went through all the pain for 1 knee replacement, I would just not go through it again," ending her quote. She did not want to devote more than 6 months of her life to both knees replaced one after the other. Her surgery was performed by doctors Letterman and Kordowitz in Michigan. Betsy is glad that she went ahead with 2 knee replacements at once. She is back at tennis and living a very full life in Naples, Florida. One more note about Betsy. The knees were replaced at the same time, 1 doctor on each knee. I thought that was pretty interesting. Plenty of patients do them one after another, not putting all the pressure on themselves at once. Jeff walked a 5K within 2 months of his second TKA. From first TKA to 5K, it was about 6 months. And if you ask Jeff, he would say that he did it the right way. 1 knee did recover faster than the other, but he got there all the same. So in Jeff's case, he didn't do them both at once. He did them one after the other, and he was pretty pleased with the results. Dave had a scare on the day he got home from surgery. His heart rate was elevated, and the nurse sent him right back to the hospital for 3 days. I was there, and he was pretty scared at the time. These are crucial days for recovery and have really compromised the recoveries of many patients. The first week of recovery is the most important, and Dave found himself behind. With the help of his wife, Carol Jean, he caught up and was at full range of motion by 4 weeks post-surgery. Full range of motion being 130 degrees flexion and 0 degrees extension. Keep in mind that it is common knowledge for those who do 2 knee replacements at once that knees often recover each at a slightly different pace from the other. You will need more care at the very beginning of a double, which sometimes puts people in skilled nursing facilities after their surgery. That means not recovering in the comfort of your own home, generally not as good for a fast recovery. Adding to the difficulties, insurance companies do not double the number of weeks you have for home care with a bilateral surgery. Rather, you get twice the PT each day during your home care rehabilitation. I would say that's suboptimal, so be mindful that when you do two, you don't quite get double the care. Who knows if this trend toward bilateral knee replacement will continue? It may be that advances in rehabilitation will help doctors and patients succeed more often with two knee replacements at once. In the end, the patient and physician must make this decision together, keeping in mind the patient's overall health, both financial and emotional. It takes real work to recover from a bilateral knee replacement, but many would say that it's worth it. If you are considering knee replacement, one or two lumps, you owe it to yourself to explore the X10 knee recovery system for your recovery after knee replacement. It works in your home and comes with the help of a patient coach and a physical therapist. The X10 offers a pain-free recovery because its patented technology feels your knee and adjusts the motion at all times to you, never pushing you into pain. And it shares your progress wirelessly with your surgeon, so he or she could track your progress alongside you, virtually. Bilateral knee replacement. Well, what do you think? I welcome your comments and thoughts. Visit the show page to make those comments, and also please rate and review the podcast. It really helps other people find us.
To learn more, visit x10therapy.com. 1-855-910-5633.
X10, back to full strength.